Chosen ones, God hid this for a reason. You must hear it now. Stop scrolling, pause everything. That restlessness stirring in your chest, that whisper in your spirit that something monumental is about to unfold. It's not your imagination, it's heaven's alarm clock, and it's ringing for you. Right now, at this very second, you're standing at the edge of a divine revelation, a truth so profound that God Himself has kept it hidden until this exact moment. Why? Because you weren't ready until now. Because the weight of this truth required a heart forged in fire, a soul shaped by storms, and a spirit refined through seasons of waiting. You didn't stumble upon this message. This message hunted you down, chosen one, because God says it's time to unveil what He's been preparing in secret. Before this hour passes, you're going to discover why every tear, every closed door, and every sleepless night was part of His divine plan for your breakthrough. Your spiritual awakening is no longer a distant hope. It's here, and it's demanding your attention. Picture a scroll, ancient and radiant, sealed with golden light, unfurling in the courts of heaven. Your name is written on it, not in ink, but in the very breath of God. This scroll holds the blueprint of your divine purpose, the destiny He crafted before the stars were hung in the sky. But here's the truth that will shake you to your core. God hid this scroll for a reason. Not to withhold it from you, but to protect it until your spirit was strong enough to carry its weight. Every struggle you've faced, every moment you felt forgotten, every time you cried out, "God, where are you?" Those weren't punishments. They were divine preparation, chiseling away everything that wasn't meant to walk into your prosperous life. You weren't abandoned, chosen one. You were being sculpted into a vessel for overflowing blessings, a warrior for divine provision, a beacon for personal transformation. Let me ask you something that might sting. How many times have you stood at the edge of a dream, only to let fear whisper, "You're not enough"? How many prayers have you buried because the silence felt too heavy? How many doors have you stopped knocking on because you believed they'd never open? I see you, beloved. I see the weight of disappointment you've carried, the scars of battles no one else witnessed. But here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. Every moment you felt disqualified was God qualifying you for something greater. Every rejection was His redirection toward a destiny so vast it would take your breath away. The Bible declares in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That hope isn't a maybe. It's a divine certainty, and it's knocking at your door right now. This video unveils a unique truth. Your deepest fears are the keys to your greatest breakthroughs. The very things that have paralyzed you, fear of failure, fear of being seen, fear of stepping into the unknown, are the gateways to your spiritual awakening. Think about Moses, trembling at the burning bush, convinced he wasn't eloquent enough to lead a nation, yet God used his fear to reveal His power, saying in Exodus 4:12, "Now go, I will help you speak, and will teach you what to say." Your fear isn't a barrier, chosen one. It's the raw material God uses to build your faith journey. Right now, as you listen, heaven is whispering, the fear you're carrying is the doorway to your divine provision. If this message is stirring your soul, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks to help us spread this truth to more chosen ones seeking their breakthrough. Your generosity isn't just a gift, it's a seed planted in the fertile ground of God's plan. Let's talk about Sarah, a single mother from Charlotte, North Carolina. For years, she worked 2 jobs, barely scraping by, praying for financial freedom, while fear kept her tethered to a dead-end routine. One night, scrolling through her phone, she felt a stirring, a divine nudge to start a small baking business she'd dreamed of since childhood. Fear screamed, "You don't have the money, you don't have the time." But something in her spirit said, "Step forward." She started small, selling cupcakes to neighbors. Within 6 months, her treats were in local cafes. Today, Sarah's bakery employs 3 people, and she's saving for her daughter's college fund. Her fear of lack became the key to her abundance. What fear is holding you back, chosen one? Is it the fear of starting that business? The fear of forgiving someone who hurt you? The fear of believing God's promises are for you? The enemy wants you to believe your fears are chains, but God says they're invitations. Every time you felt afraid, it was because you were standing at the edge of a breakthrough, a moment where your destiny was closer than you realized. The Bible reminds us in 2 Timothy 1:7, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." That power is stirring in you now, chosen one. It's the power to step into a prosperous life, to claim the wealth creation God has stored up for you, to walk boldly into the personal transformation He's designed. But here's the urgency. This moment won't wait forever. God hid this truth until now because your spirit needed refining, but the window for this revelation is narrow. Will you seize it, or will you let fear write the next chapter of your story? Imagine standing before a radiant door, your name carved in gold, pulsing with divine light. This isn't just any door, it's the entrance to your divine purpose, the life God envisioned when He called you His own. But there's a catch. The handle only turns when you face your fear, not when you feel ready, not when circumstances align, but when you choose faith over doubt. Right now, heaven is holding its breath, waiting to see if you'll grab that. The angels are positioned, the resources are allocated, and your breakthrough is closer than you think. But what if the fear you're facing is the very doorway to your divine provision? That radiant door before you, chosen one, isn't just a symbol. It's a divine invitation, etched with the promises of God, glowing with the possibilities of your destiny. Every fear you've ever faced has been leading you to this moment, where the weight of your past meets the weight of your purpose. You've been through storms that should have broken you, nights where you wondered if God could still hear your cries, and moments where you felt invisible in a world that seemed to move on without you. But here's the truth God hid until now. Those struggles weren't meant to bury you. They were meant to build you. Every tear you shed was a seed planted in the soil of your spiritual awakening. Every closed door, a redirection toward this exact threshold. The Bible declares in Romans 8:28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Your pain wasn't random, chosen one, it was purposeful, shaping you into the vessel for the overflowing blessings God is ready to pour out. Let's pause and consider David, a young shepherd from Bethlehem, overlooked by his own family, mocked by his brothers when he stepped onto the battlefield to face Goliath. Fear must have gripped his heart. His knees probably shook as he held that slingshot, facing a giant no one else dared confront. But 1 Samuel 17:45 records his bold declaration, "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty." David's fear didn't disqualify him, it propelled him into his divine purpose. That moment wasn't just about slaying a giant. It was about stepping into the destiny of a king. What giant are you facing today, chosen one? Is it the fear of financial lack that keeps you from starting that venture? The fear of rejection that stops you from mending a broken relationship? Or the fear of failure that makes you hesitate to answer God's call? Your fear isn't a stop sign, it's a starting line. Now, let's get practical, because faith without action is just a wish. And God didn't call you to wish for your breakthrough. He called you to claim it. Here are 3 specific steps you can take today to step through that radiant door and unlock your prosperous life. First, write down one goal for this week that aligns with your divine purpose. Maybe it's registering the domain name for that ministry you've been dreaming of, or drafting the first page of that book God placed in your heart. Make it specific. Write, "By Friday I will outline my business plan," or "I will enroll in that online course." Put it somewhere you'll see it daily, like your bathroom mirror, to remind you of your commitment. Second, reach out to someone you need to forgive or reconnect with. It could be a parent you haven't spoken to in years, a friend who hurt you, or even yourself for past mistakes. Send a text, make a call, or write a letter saying, "I'm ready to start healing." This act of courage breaks spiritual chains and opens pathways to abundance. Third, take one tangible step toward a project you've delayed. If you've been called to start a community group, create a simple flyer. If it's a side hustle, list one product for sale. These steps aren't just tasks, they're declarations to heaven that you're ready for your personal transformation. These 3 steps, writing a goal, reaching out, and starting a project, are your keys to turning the handle on that golden door. They're not about perfection, they're about movement. God doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He needs you to trust Him enough to take the first step. Think about Esther, who risked her life to approach the king uninvited. Esther 4:16 records her resolve, "I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish." Her fear was real, but her faith was greater, and it saved a nation. Your small steps today could unlock generational blessings, not just for you, but for those who will follow in your footsteps. Don't let the enemy convince you that your actions are too small to matter. Every seed you plant in faith grows into a harvest of divine provision. Let's talk about James, a 42-year-old mechanic from Tulsa, Oklahoma. For years he felt a calling to mentor at-risk youth, but was paralyzed by the fear of not being qualified. He had no degree, no fancy credentials, just a heart for kids who reminded him of his younger self. One evening, after hearing a message like this, he took a step. He wrote down his goal: start a weekly mentoring group by next month. He called a local community center, nervous but determined, and offered to volunteer. Within weeks, he was leading a group of 10 teens, teaching them car repair and life skills. Today, James's program has grown to serve dozens of kids, and he's partnered with local businesses for internships. His fear of inadequacy became the doorway to his divine purpose. What step is God whispering to you, chosen one? What fear is He asking you to transform into faith? The enemy wants you to believe that your fears are permanent, that they define you, that they're stronger than God's promises. But Psalm 34:4 declares, "I sought the Lord, and He answered me. He delivered me from all my fears." Your fears aren't your identity. They are opportunity to witness God's power. Right now, as you listen, heaven is rearranging the spiritual atmosphere around you. The chains of doubt are loosening. The fog of fear is lifting, and the path to your breakthrough is becoming clear. But this moment is urgent. God hid this truth until now because your spirit needed to be ready. But the window for this revelation won't stay open forever. If your heart is stirring, if you feel the fire of your faith journey igniting, type, "I am facing my fears" in the comments below. Your declaration isn't just for you. It's a signal to heaven that you're ready to step into your destiny, and it's a spark of courage for someone else watching. Imagine this. You're holding a key, small but heavy with divine weight, glowing with the promise of wealth creation and personal transformation. This key fits the lock on that radiant door, but it only works if you use it. The enemy has spent years convincing you that you don't deserve to hold this key, that it's meant for someone more qualified, more faithful, more together. But Ephesians 2:10 reminds us, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You were created for this moment, chosen one. Your fears, your flaws, your past, they don't disqualify you, they authenticate you. They prove you've been through the fire and emerged ready for the abundance God has stored up. Let's be real for a moment. The world is loud, isn't it? It's screaming that you're too late, too broken, too ordinary to step into a prosperous life. Social media shows you everyone else's highlight reels while you're still wrestling with your own script. But God's voice is louder, and He's saying, "I hid this for you because you're not ordinary, you're chosen." Your faith journey isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about trusting the unique path God carved for you. Right now, thousands of chosen ones are watching this, feeling the same stirring, standing at their own radiant doors. You're not alone. You're part of a divine family, bound by purpose, not perfection. And every step you take toward your breakthrough inspires someone else to take theirs. So, what's the fear you're facing today? Is it the fear of stepping out in faith to start something new? The fear of believing God can restore what's been broken? Or the fear of trusting that His plan for your prosperity is real? Whatever it is, name it. Speak it out loud, even if it's just to yourself, because the moment you name your fear, you strip it of its power. You turn it into a stepping stone toward your divine provision. The door is still there, chosen one, glowing with promise, waiting for you to act. Those 3 steps. Writing your goal, reaching out, starting that project. They're not just suggestions. They're your battle plan, your act of defiance against the enemy's lies, your declaration that you're ready for everything God has hidden for you. But what if the next step you take is the one that changes everything? That question lingers in the air, doesn't it, chosen one? What if the next step you take is the one that changes everything? The radiant door before you, shimmering with the promise of your divine purpose, isn't just an invitation, it's a challenge. A challenge to trust that every moment of your faith journey, every scar, every setback, was orchestrated by God to lead you here. You're not standing at this threshold by accident. The restlessness in your spirit, the quickening of your pulse, the sense that something eternal is at stake, that's not coincidence. It's divine alignment. God hid this moment for a reason, shielding it until your heart was ready to bear the weight of your calling. The Bible declares in Isaiah 55:8-9, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." His plan for your prosperous life is bigger than you've dared to dream, and it's unfolding now. Let's talk about the fear that's trying to hold you back, because it's not just a feeling, it's a strategy. The enemy knows that if you step through this door, you'll unlock a level of abundance and personal transformation that will ripple through generations. He's whispering lies, telling you you're too broken, too late, or too small to claim God's promises. But let me remind you of someone who faced those same lies. Gideon, hiding in a winepress, threshing wheat in secret because he feared the Midianites. Judges 6:12 records the angel's greeting. "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Gideon didn't feel like a warrior. He felt small, insignificant, the least in his family. Yet God saw what Gideon couldn't, a leader who would deliver a nation. Your fears are loud, chosen one, but God's truth is louder. He sees the mighty warrior in you, the vessel of divine provision, the carrier of a legacy that will outlive you. Now, let's ground this in reality. You're not just listening to words, you're being invited to act. Those 3 steps we talked about, writing down a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting that delayed project, are your keys to unlocking this door. They're simple, but don't mistake simplicity for insignificance. Think about Naaman in 2 Kings 5, a powerful commander plagued by leprosy. When Elisha told him to wash in the Jordan River 7 times, Naaman was offended by the simplicity. He wanted a grand gesture, a dramatic miracle, but it was in the ordinary act of obedience, dipping in a muddy river, that his healing came. Your breakthrough doesn't need to look spectacular to be supernatural. Writing that goal could be the spark that ignites your wealth creation. Making that call could break a generational curse. Starting that project could open doors to connections you never imagined. These steps are your act of faith, your declaration that you trust God's plan over your fears. Let me share a story about Maria, a 35-year-old teacher from Atlanta. For years, she felt a calling to write a book about overcoming anxiety, a struggle she'd faced since her teens. Fear told her, "No one will read it. You're not a writer." But one Sunday, after hearing a sermon about stepping out in faith, she took a small step. She wrote down her goal: complete 1 chapter by next month. She started typing, her hands shaking with doubt. Then she reached out to a friend who was an editor, asking for feedback. That friend connected her to a local writing group. Within a year, Maria's book was self-published, and it's now used in church small groups across her state, helping hundreds find peace. Her fear of failure became the doorway to her divine purpose. What small step is God asking you to take today, chosen one? What fear is He inviting you to transform into a testimony? The enemy wants you to believe that your moment has passed, that you've missed too many opportunities for God's plan to work. But Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, there is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. This is your season, your divine moment. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you. Every closed door, every delay, every tear was part of His strategy to prepare you for this breakthrough. Picture yourself standing on a cliff's edge, the wind of heaven at your back, the radiant door just steps away. On the other side lies not just financial freedom or healed relationships, but the fullness of who you were created to be, a light in the darkness, a bridge for others, a living testament to God's faithfulness. The fear you feel isn't a wall, it's a veil, thin and fragile, waiting for you to push through. Right now, thousands of chosen ones are watching this, feeling the same fire in their spirits, standing at their own radiant doors. You're part of a movement, a remnant rising to claim their divine provision. If this message is igniting your faith, type, "I am claiming my breakthrough," in the comments below. Your words aren't just for you, they're a beacon for someone else who's hesitating, a reminder that they're not alone in their faith journey. When you declare your commitment, you're not just speaking to heaven, you're inspiring others to step forward too. This is how we build a community of faith, where each step you take strengthens someone else's resolve. Your breakthrough isn't just personal, it's generational, a spark that lights up the path for those who come after you. Let's address the lie that's been holding you back, the lie that you need to be perfect to step into your destiny. Perfection is a myth, chosen one. God doesn't call the flawless, He calls the faithful. Look at Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, yet was chosen to lead the early church. Luke 22:32 records Jesus saying, "I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail, and when you have turned back, strengthen your brother." Your mistakes don't disqualify you, they prepare you to strengthen others. Your fears don't exclude you. They equip you to empathize with those who are struggling. God hid this moment until now because he knew you needed to be broken to become a blessing, wounded to become a healer, tested to become a testimony. As you stand before this radiant door, feel the weight of heaven's expectation. The angels are leaning in, the cloud of witnesses cheering, waiting to see if you'll trust God's promise over your doubts. The fear you're wrestling with isn't a sign of weakness. It's proof you're on the verge of something massive. Every great breakthrough in Scripture came through a moment of decision where fear was confronted with faith. Joshua faced it when God said in Joshua 1:9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." Your courage doesn't come from your strength. It comes from His presence. That presence is with you now, chosen one, urging you to take those 3 steps. Write your goal, reach out, start that project, and watch how God transforms your obedience into overflowing blessing. What if the fear you're facing isn't a barrier, but a bridge? What if the doubts holding you back are the final test before you step into the abundance God has hidden for you? The radiant door is still there, its golden light pulsing with the promise of your destiny. The handle is within reach, but it's up to you to turn it. That radiant door, chosen one, stands before you, its golden light shimmering with the weight of your divine purpose. It's not just a doorway, it's a divine portal, crafted in the courts of heaven, inscribed with the promises God has spoken over your life since before time began. The fear you feel, that trembling in your spirit, isn't a signal to retreat. It's the sound of your destiny awakening, the pulse of a breakthrough so close you can almost touch it. God hid this moment for a reason, shielding it until your heart was ready to carry the fullness of His plan. Every storm you've weathered, every door that slammed shut, every night you wondered if you'd ever see the light again, they weren't accidents. They were divine preparation, sculpting you into a vessel for abundance, a warrior for divine provision, a light for personal transformation. The Bible declares in Psalm 31:19, "How abundant are the good things that you have stored up for those who fear you, that you bestow in the sight of all, on those who take refuge in you." Those good things are waiting on the other side of this door, and they're yours to claim. Let's talk about the lie that's been keeping you frozen, the one whispering that your fears are stronger than God's promises. The enemy wants you to believe that your doubts are permanent, that your mistakes have disqualified you, that your moment for a prosperous life has passed. But let me remind you of Jonah, a man who ran from God's call, swallowed by a whale for 3 days. Jonah 2:10 records, "And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land." Even in his rebellion, God didn't abandon him. He gave Jonah a second chance to step into his divine purpose. Your fears, your failures, your detours, they don't have the final word. God does. And right now He's saying, "This is your moment. I hid this for you because you're mine." Your faith journey isn't over, it's just beginning. And the radiant door is proof that your breakthrough is closer than you think. Those 3 steps we talked about, writing down a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting that delayed project, are your keys to turning the handle on this door. They're not about earning God's favor. They're about aligning your actions with His promises. Think about the widow in 2 Kings 4. Facing crushing debt, her sons on the brink of slavery, Elisha asked, "What do you have in your house?" She had only a small jar of oil, but she acted in faith, gathering empty jars and pouring out what little she had. Her obedience turned scarcity into abundance, filling every jar with oil to sell. Your small steps, writing that goal, making that call, starting that project, may feel insignificant, but they're the oil God will multiply. They're your declaration that you trust His plan for wealth creation, for healed relationships, for a life overflowing with blessings. Let me share a story about Daniel, a 29-year-old barista from Seattle. For years, he felt a calling to start a podcast about faith and mental health, but fear of judgment kept him silent. What if no one listens? What if I sound foolish? He thought. One evening, scrolling through YouTube, he felt a divine nudge. He took a step. He wrote down his goal: record my first episode by next week. He reached out to a college friend who knew audio editing, asking for help. Then he started recording in his tiny apartment with a borrowed microphone. Today, Daniel's podcast has thousands of listeners, and he's been invited to speak at local churches. His fear of being unheard became the doorway to his divine purpose. What fear is God asking you to face, chosen one? What step is He urging you to take to unlock your breakthrough? The enemy wants you to believe that this moment is just another fleeting inspiration, that you'll wake up tomorrow and nothing will have changed. But Hebrews 11:1 declares, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see." Your faith isn't wishful thinking. It's the substance of your destiny, the evidence of God's promises. Right now, as you listen, heaven is shifting the atmosphere around you. The chains of fear are breaking, the lies of inadequacy are crumbling, and the path to your prosperous life is being revealed. But this moment is urgent. God hid this truth until your spirit was ready, but the window for this revelation won't stay open forever. If your heart is burning, if you feel the fire of your spiritual awakening, type, "I am unlocking my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a signal to heaven that you're ready, a spark of courage for someone else hesitating at their own radiant door. Imagine holding a scroll, its edges glowing with divine light, your name written in golden letters. This scroll isn't just a record of your past, it's the blueprint of your future, penned by God Himself. Every fear you faced, every tear you've shed, every moment you felt unworthy was part of His plan to prepare you for this scroll's contents. The enemy has spent years trying to convince you that you're not enough, that your dreams are too big, that your calling is for someone else. But Colossians 3:3 reminds us, "For you died, and your life is now hidden with Christ in God." Your true identity is hidden in Him, safe from the enemy's lies, ready to be revealed as you step through this door. Your fears don't define you. Your faith does. And that faith is stirring now, urging you to act, to claim the abundance God has stored up. Let's be honest. The world is noisy, isn't it? It's shouting that you're too late, too broken, too ordinary to step into a life of divine provision. But God's whisper is stronger, and He's saying, "I hid this for you because you're extraordinary." Your faith journey isn't about competing with others. It's about trusting the unique path He's carved for you. Right now, thousands of chosen ones are watching this, standing at their own radiant doors, feeling the same stirring in their spirits. You're not alone. You're part of a divine remnant, bound by purpose, not perfection. Every step you take toward your breakthrough inspires someone else to take theirs. Your obedience isn't just for you. It's for the generations waiting for your legacy. What's the fear holding you back today? Is it the fear of starting something new, believing it's too late to chase that dream? The fear of trusting God to restore what's been lost? Or the fear of stepping into the unknown, unsure if you're truly chosen? Name that fear, chosen one. Speak it out, even if it's just a whisper. Because the moment you name it, you rob it of its power. You turn it into a stepping stone toward your personal transformation. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting that project, are your battle plan, your act of defiance against the enemy's lies, your proof that you're ready for the destiny God hid for you. The radiant door is still there, its light pulsing with promise, waiting for you to turn the handle. But what if the fear you're facing is the final veil before you see God's plan unveiled in all its glory? The radiant door before you, chosen one, pulses with a light that feels alive, as if heaven itself is breathing through it. Your name, etched in gold, glows with the promise of a destiny so vast it could only be crafted by the Creator himself. Every fear you've carried, every doubt that's weighed you down, every moment you felt unseen or unworthy, they were all part of God's hidden plan, preparing you for this exact threshold. This isn't just another moment in your life. It's the divine moment, the one God shielded until your spirit was strong enough to step into the fullness of your calling. The Bible declares in Habakkuk 2:3, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It hastens to the end, it will not disappoint. If it seems slow in coming, wait for it. It is sure to come." Your vision, your breakthrough, your prosperous life, it's not delayed, it's here, and it's waiting for you to claim it. Let's confront the fear that's whispering in your ear, the one telling you this moment is too big, that you're not ready, that someone else is better suited for this destiny. That's not truth, it's a tactic. The enemy knows that if you step through this door, you'll unleash a wave of divine provision that will shift not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Think of Peter, standing on the shore after denying Jesus 3 times. John 21:17 records Jesus asking, "Do you love me?" and commissioning him to feed my sheep. Peter's fear of failure could have kept him stuck, but Jesus saw past his mistakes to his divine purpose. Your fears don't disqualify you, chosen one. They qualify you. They prove you've been through the fire, ready to carry the light of personal transformation to a world that desperately needs it. Those 3 steps, writing down a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting that delayed project, are your keys to unlocking this radiant door. They're not about perfection, they're about obedience. Consider Ruth, a widow with nothing but grief and uncertainty. When she chose to stay with Naomi, she took a step, small but seismic. Ruth 1:16 records her resolve, "Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay." That single act of faith led her to Boaz, to provision, to a legacy in the lineage of Jesus. Your steps don't need to be grand to be powerful. Writing that goal could spark the wealth creation God has planned. Reaching out could heal a relationship that's been broken for years. Starting that project could open doors to connections that change your life. These are your acts of faith, your defiance against fear, your declaration that you're ready for the abundance God has hidden for you. Let me tell you about Lisa, a 50-year-old nurse from Cleveland. For years, she felt a calling to start a support group for families dealing with addiction, but fear of judgment held her back. What if I'm not qualified? What if no one shows up? She thought. One night, after a long shift, she felt a divine nudge. She took a step. She wrote down her goal, start a support group by next month. She reached out to a pastor friend, asking for a meeting space. Then she started posting flyers in her hospital. That first meeting had just 3 people, but within a year, Lisa's group was helping dozens of families find hope. Her fear of being inadequate became the doorway to her divine purpose. What fear is God asking you to transform, chosen one? What step is He urging you to take to unlock your breakthrough? The enemy wants you to believe that this moment is just another fleeting inspiration, that you'll wake up tomorrow and nothing will have changed. But 1 Corinthians 2:9 declares, "No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love Him." Your destiny isn't limited by what you can see. It's defined by what God has prepared. Right now, as you listen, heaven is aligning resources, connections, and opportunities to meet your faith. The chains of doubt are breaking, the fog of fear is lifting, and the path to your spiritual awakening is clear. But this moment is urgent. God hid this truth until now because your spirit needed refining, but the window for this revelation is closing. If your heart is burning, if you feel the fire of your faith journey igniting, type, "I am stepping through my door," in the comments below. Your declaration is a signal to heaven, a spark of courage for someone else hesitating at their own radiant door. Picture yourself holding a key, warm with divine energy, glowing with the promise of your prosperous life. This key fits the lock on that radiant door, but it only works if you use it. The enemy has spent years convincing you that you don't deserve it, that it's meant for someone more qualified. But Ephesians 2:10 reminds us, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." You were created for this moment, chosen one. Your fears, your flaws, your past, they don't disqualify you. They authenticate you, proving you've been through the fire to carry this light. Your faith journey isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about trusting the unique path God carved for you. Right now, thousands of chosen ones are watching this, standing at their own radiant doors, feeling the same stirring in their spirits. You're part of a divine remnant, bound by purpose, not perfection. Every step you take inspires someone else to take theirs. Your obedience isn't just for you. It's for the generations waiting for your legacy. Name the fear holding you back, chosen one. Speak it out, even if it's just to yourself. The moment you name it, you strip it of its power, turning it into a stepping stone toward your personal transformation. Those 3 steps, writing your goal, reaching out, starting that project, are your battle plan, your act of defiance against the enemy's lies, your proof that you're ready for the destiny God hid for you. The radiant door is still there, its light pulsing with promise, waiting for you to turn the handle. But what if the fear you're facing is the final test before you step into the fullness of God's plan? The radiant door before you, chosen one, isn't just a threshold. It's the gateway to the life God envisioned when He knit you together in your mother's womb. Its golden light pulses with the promise of your divine purpose, a destiny so profound that God hid it until this moment, knowing only now could you bear its weight. The fear you feel, that trembling in your spirit, isn't a signal to turn back. It's the echo of heaven cheering you forward, urging you to step into the abundance, the personal transformation, the prosperous life that awaits. Every tear you've shed, every door that closed, every night you wrestled with doubt was part of His divine plan, forging you into a vessel for overflowing blessings. The Bible declares in Revelation 3:8, "I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." That door is yours, chosen one, and it's open now, beckoning you to claim the divine provision God has stored up. Let's silence the lie that's been holding you back, the one whispering that you're too broken, too late, or too ordinary to step into this destiny. Think of Mary Magdalene, a woman tormented by 7 demons, scorned by society, yet chosen to be the first to witness the risen Christ. John 20:18 records her bold declaration, "I have seen the Lord." Her past didn't disqualify her, it positioned her to carry a message that changed the world. Your fears, your failures, your scars, they're not chains. They're credentials. Proof you've been through the fire and emerged ready to shine. The enemy wants you to believe your moment has passed, but God says your moment is now. Those 3 steps, writing down a goal, reaching out to someone, and starting that delayed project, are your keys to unlocking this door. They are your act of faith, your defiance against doubt, your declaration that you trust God's plan over your fears. Imagine standing on the other side of that radiant door, the air electric with possibility, your heart full of certainty that every step was worth it. You look back and see how every fear you faced became a stepping stone, every doubt a spark that ignited your faith journey. This is what awaits you: a life of wealth creation, healed relationships, and a legacy that echoes through generations. But this moment is urgent. God hid this truth until your spirit was ready. But the window for this revelation won't stay open forever. Right now, thousands of chosen ones are watching, standing at their own radiant doors, feeling the same fire in their spirits. You're not alone. You're part of a divine remnant, bound by purpose, not perfection. If this message has stirred your soul, type, "I am claiming my destiny" in the comments below. Your declaration is a beacon, lighting the way for someone else hesitating at their door. Let's close with a prayer, sealing this moment in eternity. Place your hand over your heart, feel its rhythm, and know that heaven is moving with you. Heavenly Father, we come before you, awestruck by your love and the destiny you've hidden for your chosen ones. Right now, in the name of Jesus, we break every chain of fear, every lie of inadequacy, every barrier the enemy has built. Lord, pour out your divine provision. Ignite their spiritual awakening and guide their steps toward the prosperous life you've promised. Fill them with boldness like Esther, courage like David, faith like Peter. Let their obedience unlock doors no one can shut, their surrender shift generations, their yes echo through eternity. Father, for those facing financial lack, release abundance. For those with broken relationships, restore unity. For those doubting their calling, reveal your truth. We declare every fear transformed into faith, every doubt into destiny, every delay into breakthrough. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Chosen one, this isn't the end, it's your beginning. The radiant door stands open and your next step will echo through eternity. Share this video with someone who needs to hear that their door is still open, someone wrestling with fear, searching for their divine purpose. Your share isn't just a click, it's a lifeline, a spark of hope for another soul. If this message has stirred your spirit, consider supporting our mission through Super Thanks, helping us spread this truth to more chosen ones seeking their breakthrough. Your generosity plants seeds in heaven's soil, yielding a harvest of blessings. Join thousands of chosen souls by subscribing and hitting the notification bell to stay connected to your faith journey. Thank you for your open heart, your willing spirit, and your courage to believe God's plan isn't finished. The door is open. Your destiny